Okay, just before I get started on the Smackdown review, I just want to talk briefly about Raw and finding out that Finn Balor, well, a little more than that, you now have Bobby Lashley as IC champ, which doesn't really mean anything. It's just sad that they've done nothing with him and then they just throw the title on him. The one thing that is interesting is Finn Balor. And I just want to make this very clear. 100% clear. I'm not against Finn Balor going against Brock Lesnar. Not the problem. The problem is this. When Royal Rumble rolls around, if Finn is not the demon, if he's ordinary Finn Balor, this will mean nothing. People want to see Finn Balor as the demon. It's the truth. I'm not a Finn Balor fan. I'm legitimately not a Finn Balor fan. I don't really care that much about him. He doesn't say anything about his Irish heritage. If he cared more about his Irish heritage, I think if he acted more like an Irishman, he acted more like Sheamus in a sense. When he was early on in his career, more of an Irishman. I'm going to bust your skull in. That's what the Irish people do. If he acted a little more like that, a little more of a brash, attitude Finn Balor, I would care, but I don't. But this isn't about if I care about him. This is about an objective view. If he comes out as regular Finn Balor, no matter if he's not smiling, it doesn't matter. Because this was just a waste of time. Whether he wins the title or not, he has to be the demon Finn Balor because that's what people have been wanting. And if WWE has been listening to the fans now, he has to be Finn Balor, the demon. Not Finn Balor, the wrestler. I only wanted to say that. Now, we got a lot of content on this Smackdown Live. Not going to cover absolutely everything because I'm actually having sore throat problems. This weather in New York has been brutal. It's been getting warm, then it's been getting humid, then it's been getting cold. And then it finally stays cold. But then if you're like me, who had to go to a store or go to some place and they crank the heat up and you're wearing a heavy jacket, you get sore throat because you come out of the place sweating, and then you go into the cold and then you, you mess up your throat again. Damn it all. Ugh. And I've been drinking tea, just to let you know I have been taking care of myself. Let's do this briefly. We got a chance, excuse me, we got a chance to see Evans, we got a chance to see Heavy Machinery, and we got a chance to see EC3. Now, I got to say this. Seeing that these three people are there, I'm alright with it. But the question is, are they there, or are they just there as show? I'm not sure, because we supposedly saw EC3 on Raw, so I don't know if he's on SmackDown or Raw. Now, Stacey Evans, I believe her name is Stacey Evans. I haven't really watched her lately. Now, if she's on SmackDown, if Heavy Machinery, I keep forgetting the name, is on SmackDown, and if EC3's on SmackDown, I'm cool with it. No problem whatsoever. Now, the opening of the show, you see, excuse me, told you my throat's messed up. Sorry if I cough. You get Becky appearing in SUV, Becky drinking a meat shake, and then Becky coming out in the beginning of the show saying that she is the best and putting over Asuka to a certain extent, which I was alright with. Asuka comes out. I'll say this, Asuka sounds more able to talk in English. Doesn't mean she can talk 100% in English, but at least she sounds a little bit better. Whoever's writing for at least in this segment was alright. Short Street. The reason I botch is because of the Iconics. Because honestly, let's be honest, we really didn't need the Iconics going up against either one of them. Honestly, I would have liked to see Becky do something else, or Asuka do something else, than actually squash the Iconics. And I'm not like a huge Iconics fan. Peyton Royce is gorgeous. Billie Kay, I want to be her husband. I want to see her naked. I want to give her 10 children. Well, actually, I don't want children. I never want children again. But you get my point. They're gorgeous. They'll be great as managers. Very seldomly wrestling. But seeing them being used to try and put Becky and Asuka over was painful because they're not very good wrestlers. I'm not saying they're bad wrestlers, but they're not good ones. They're the low-tier jobbers. That's who they are. That's the truth. And seeing them going up against Becky and Asuka just looked bad. Peyton Royce looked horrible. Billie Kay, at least she got out of it quickly and tapped out to Asuka fast. I'll say at least that. But when it came to Becky, she didn't look really good for Becky. Now, let's move on to the AJ Styles sighting, which was very interesting. What they decided to do was have AJ Styles come out right when both of them were wrapping up, and that's Asuka and Becky. It would have been more interesting if Becky had said something to AJ, stared him down a little bit as the man. Asuka looked back at him, which is understandable. That was cool. But I think Becky should have said something to AJ Styles. Anyway, he goes around the ring, goes up into the stands, and then goes to the concession stand and to the place to eat. And he makes it very clear that the fans are the key here. That they're the most important thing. They can have whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. They can eat whatever they want. Who gives a damn? It's their right. And then it was AJ Styles having the right to get his ass whooped by Daniel Bryan. That's what we got. Which made it interesting. It wasn't that bad of a segment. I actually was cool with it. And I'm actually interested in seeing how far they're going to go with AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan going into Royal Rumble. I don't know who's going to win. Honestly, at this point, the only person that needs to continue winning is Daniel Bryan. Because of the bad booking for him, AJ needs to be doing something else. He doesn't need to be champ right now. Let Daniel Bryan do it for a while, and then transfer AJ over to Raw. I think he needs to be on Raw than SmackDown at this point. He's done all he can on SmackDown. He needs to go to Raw. I'm just saying. The next person that needs to be brought up into the championship title picture is Samoa Joe. The person that should be taking over for AJ Styles on SmackDown Live, being the guy who runs the place, is Samoa Joe. He was supposed to have a match with Mustafa Ali. He did not have one. Excuse me. What happened was Mustafa got his ass whipped for his trouble. He legitimately annihilated Mustafa Ali, ramming his face into the turn post not once, but twice, doing a inside-out hit that looked like he got torn inside out. Then he was thrown up against one of the guardrails that's padded. Here's my problem. You got Joe going into Royal Rumble, destroying Mustafa Ali. No problem. But here's the thing. If Mustafa Ali is the only person he destroys, this means nothing. He needs to do another person and another one on the next SmackDown Live. We have maybe one more week before Royal Rumble. He needs to destroy at least 2 or 3 more people to make him feel credible. Destroying one guy means nothing to me. You know why? Because Samoa Joe, no matter if he's been injured or not, has legitimately had the chance to get the title and has been dropped. Buried. And the problem for me is, no matter how many times you make him look tough, and he has these great promos, means nothing without a title. He needs to go into WrestleMania. You need him to go to SmackDown Live as... hang on a minute. Samoa Joe should be going after the world title on SmackDown Live. He needs to win the Royal Rumble. He's the only one that should win the Royal Rumble. Or at least, if he can't win the Royal Rumble, be the one slated to go into WrestleMania to challenge for the world title. That's the truth. That's it. Now, the best match of the night will be Rey and Andrade Cien Almas, with Zelina Vega, that sexy, incredible woman, by his side. She had to help him win, but I'm going to make this really clear. This was a good Lucha Libre match. I'm not into Lucha Libre. I am learning about Lucha Libre. Well, I've always known about Lucha Libre, but I've never been a big high-flying Lucha Libre fan. I still am not. But I can appreciate really good high-flying wrestling. And that's what we got in this match. There was so much high-flying in it. It was really good, if you see it in that respect. I don't mind high-flying as long as it's balanced with a little bit of grapple and some psychology. I see this as a good Lucha Libre match, and if you're going to watch SmackDown Live again, I would suggest you see that match more than anything else. Now, let's do this now. I was going to make this as the title, but because of what happened at the end of the show, I have to do this. You got Jimmy getting a package, thinking it was Naomi. He gets a package from Mandy Rose. And the thing that got me, it was Jay who was reading a card for him, which was a surprise. Why would you... I'm sorry. Look, I understand they're brothers, and they don't hide anything from each other. But if this was something that could have been a little more racy, it wouldn't have been good for seeing Jimmy, I'm about to say John, his real name, Jimmy allowing Jay to actually read that sucker. Because that will give him some confusing thoughts, or some very interesting ones. But in the end, what do we get? Jimmy going to the hotel because he got a key card from Mandy Rose. And we got Mandy Rose in a negligee, waiting for Jimmy, opening up that negligee, showing an incredibly gorgeous body. And Jimmy telling her, no, this needs to stop. And a guy coming in, conveniently taking a couple of pictures and running away. And I think this would have been saved better for Royal Rumble. To be honest, I think this should have been saved for Royal Rumble. That this could have been more special there. Because even though this wasn't bad, unless they're going to make a special match for Naomi and Mandy Rose, which they're going to need to for Royal Rumble, Naomi and Mandy Rose need a match on their own. If you're giving time to this, you must give them both a match. If they're just going to be in the Royal Rumble with the other women, they need a match after that. For both of them to do something special. They need it. They need a special match. Unless it's going to be an Elimination Chamber, they need a match either not involving the Royal Rumble or after Royal Rumble going to Elimination Chamber. That's what it really needs to be culminating to. But technically speaking, when you hear Mandy Rose pretty much saying, I don't give a damn about you, I don't want to F you, I want to destroy Naomi because she thinks she runs the place. He walks out saying, you really think that, huh? You think this is going to happen? Well, he walks out, and when he said that, I realized Naomi's outside, isn't she? Isn't she? And there she was. Unfortunately, I didn't get a picture of it. At least I'm going to try to. I may try and get it when I'm editing this. She stood there. She tried to destroy Mandy Rose, and she got her ass kicked. And Mandy managed to run away, barefoot, wearing nothing but a negligee top, a negligee bottom, and a negligee robe. Well, a robe, actually, a very thin robe, which was... She is a gorgeous woman. She is a gorgeous woman. Anyone who can convince her to be with her is the luckiest bastard, or the other word, you can see. But in the end, Naomi could not get her, and that's that. Finally, if I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. Finally, we got the closing of the show, the birthday bash and beatdown. I'm not sure about the name. Probably the birthday bash will probably be the best name to say it. You got The Miz coming out, having 2 cakes, and calling out Shane because it's his birthday today. Just to say, the guy is 1 year older than me. Well, actually, he was born in 1970. I was born in 71. He's a year and 7 months older than me. It's good that I'm not totally grayed out. I got gray, but not totally gray. And I still got some hair on my head. But in the end, this was about trying to make Shane McMahon's birthday special. Now, they said something I was actually surprised, that The Miz supposedly lowered his guard and talked about his father and how something about his father. I'm going to see if I can catch that, if he did that in the ring or not. But I was... Ooh, my throat hurts. I was I thought it was a nice gift. This wasn't too bad. In the end, he got some kicks, got some Nikes. No, sorry, not Nikes. I'm sorry. I'm not a sneaker guy. I'm sorry. He got some Jordan 33s. I believe that's the name of them. And it got them in my face. I am not a sneaker guy. I'm sorry. I'm not a shoe connoisseur. I'm the type of person that is I only care about being on a walk. I don't care about how cool I look wearing something while walking. I just want to walk. When you're like this, where you have problems walking, you don't always care about aesthetics. You care about function. So I'm sorry. But in the end, seeing that he got a nice pair of sneakers, he got a nice video pack, it wasn't that bad. Then Sheamus and Cesaro comes out. Then I'm thinking, oh boy, there's going to be a match. Is it going to be a tag match? That would be dumb. It's got to be a singles, which it was. And Shane convinced The Miz to go in the ring with Sheamus in a suit. In the end, it was Sheamus who lost because he was distracted by Cesaro going through a cake. And in the end, you got a coast-to-coast on Sheamus with a kick in the face. Well, as close as possible without Shane actually kicking him in the face. I'll say this, the closing wasn't bad. The opening wasn't bad. The middle with Jimmy and Mandy Rose wasn't too bad. I mean, like I said last week, Jimmy's going to have to carry this to a certain extent. It wasn't perfect. He didn't look like he was doing very good at it. But at least it was something to really build into Mandy Rose and Naomi having this feud. So I will say it was alright. So the beginning, the middle, the end was not 100% bad. It was an okay to good show. That's just me. You guys may think it's a great show. But I'm seeing it for the point of view is I don't know how far they're going to go with everybody. I'm kind of being a little conservative because, let's be honest, the WWE has done a double cross multiple times to the fans. And I am not interested in going down that route, beginning to get really hyped for something, and then they act like dicks again. Just not doing it. I'm being very conservative. This was a good to okay show. You can easily see it again, particularly for the Rey Mysterio and Andrade Zia almost match. It was good. And Zelina Vega is just absolutely gorgeous. You want to marry her. Okay. Have a good day. Have a good night. And oh, just one last thing. I just want to say to anyone who's seen my alternate channel, which is MMD Amateur Hour, I want to say thank you that at least you took a look at it. I know there's not many people seeing it. I'll leave a below if you guys have not seen the current episode that I put up, which is a new one on Earth, Wind, and Fire September. Take a look at it. Hope you like it. And thank you for even looking, whoever did look at the trailer. And if you hadn't seen the video I did on Earth, Wind, and Fire September, thank you. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace!